So as we are using CNN, we will take layers such as convolutional 2D layers, max pooling 2D layers, as well as flatten. Then we'll apply the dense layers and then the final layer. So let's go through these one by one. So we're taking the model as sequential. As you can see here, we are building a sequential model. For this sequential model, we have taken the first layer as a conv 2D layer. We have set the number of filters as 64. You can play around the number of filters, number of kernel size, activation function, because it can hamper the accuracy of this model, and you can play around with to get a higher accuracy. This is called the hyperparameter tuning. I have set it according to me. You can change it according to yourself. So in the first layer, we need to pass the input shape also. So here we know that the input shape is 224 by 224 by 3. After that, I have applied a max pooling layer and with a pool size of 2 by 2. So what a max pooling layer does, it finds out the most dominant feature in a 2 by 2 matrix. Similarly, after that, I have applied a conv 2D layer again, then a max pooling layer, then again a conv 2D layer, then a max pooling layer. Similarly, you can add as many number of layers that you want if it gets you a higher accuracy. After completing the convolutional layers or the max pooling layers, we will flatten this data because now we need to apply the dense layers. We will flatten this layer, this data by adding a flattening layer. Next, we will add dense layers. So we are adding a dense layer with 128 neurons, activation function ReLU, and a regularizer, which is of L2 class. Similarly, I am adding one more dense layer, which is of 64 neurons, activation function ReLU, and kernel regularizer equal to L2. The final layer will contain the number of neurons as the total number of classes, which is 3 here. Also, it is a multi-class classification function. So the activation function for the last layer or the output layer should be softmax, because softmax gives us the probability of classes. So in a multi-class classification problem, we generally take softmax as the activation function for the last layer. After creating this architecture, now let's compile this model. As we are working with image dataset, so we'll take the loss as categorical cross entropy. We can also take the loss as the sparse categorical cross entropy, but not in this case because the data is not that sparse. It is used when the data is diverse. Like if we have 10, 20, 30 classes, then we will use sparse categorical cross entropy. We are using an optimizer Adam with a learning rate of 0.0001. And the metrics I have taken is the accuracy. Now let's print the summary of this model. So once again, what we have done here, we have used different types of layer according to their features, like conv 2D, max pooling 2D, and flatten layers, and the dense layers. After that, we have compiled the model using the loss, which is categorical cross entropy, optimizers, and metrics. Now we are printing the summary of this model. Now let's run this cell to print out the summary of this model. So here you can see the summary of this model. So we know that the model is sequential. The first layer is a conv 2D layer, then input shape of 220 by 220 by 64, which equates to 4864 params. Similarly, you can see that the max pooling layer, then the conv 2D second layer, then the max pooling second layer, then conv 2D third layer, and so on. After the flatten layer, we have applied the dense layer, then second dense layer, and the third and the final output layer, which has 3 because we are working on only 3 classes. After finding out the summary of this model, this network architecture, we found out that the total parameters, as you can see here, and the trainable ones are 162,619, that are 1,62,619 parameters. Now the next step would be to split the data into training and testing, and to split that data into training and validation dataset. So here we are using the train test split function from sklearn and splitting our data. So let's run this cell and split our data into test and train, and then further into validation data. Next, we will fit our model. So in order to fit our model, we'll need to define the number of epochs. Here I have taken 100 epochs. It is a model which requires a very high computational power. So 100 epochs will take around 5 to 6 hours to run. Similarly, I have taken batch size as 128, and I have fitted this model and saved that fitness into history. So here you can see that while fitting the model, what all I have called, I've called the xtrain function, xtrain data, the ytrain data, batch size equal to batch size I have defined above, number of epochs as I have defined above the 100, and the validation data which we have splitted above. Now we will train this model on 100 epochs and a batch size of 128. You can try using more number of epochs to achieve a higher accuracy. Also, you can see during each epoch how the model is performing. So now let's run this and see how much time it will take. You need to be very patient about it because it will take a lot of time. As you can see here, each epoch will take around, let's see how much time it takes. So each epoch is taking around 17 seconds. So 17 into plus 17 is 34 seconds. First epoch has taken 34 seconds. Similarly, all these epochs will run. It will take some time. You have to be very patient. Here you can see that it is also printing the loss, the accuracy, the validation loss and the validation accuracy. So we will see after some time when these epochs will be finished. Then we will again continue with the further steps. So it took me around 1.5 hours to run 100 epochs on this data. You can change this 100 epochs to as much as you want. And let me show you a trick how you can change this time period, how you can increase this computational power of your Google Colab. You just need to get into the edit section, go to the notebook settings, and you can change your hardware accelerator here. You can select it to TPU, GPU, anything that you want, and you can increase the power of this Google Colab. We will run this model and we can see that the final accuracy you are getting is the accuracy of 97 while validation accuracy of 0.7.